This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Big brother. So.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. Minutes of 7/21/22. Whoever was here can say, please make a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a seconder. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Jamie, you have to do a roll call, please.
Yep. Dan,
Yes.
Greg,
Greg was online. So you were here.
I was here.
Yes.
Yes.
Jay,
Aye.
Jessica,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
John,
Aye.
Harry,
Yes.
and Scott.
I abstain.
Thank you.
You abstain. Public speak. Anybody here from the public?
What's that?
City officials communication. You want to talk anything about the CPA coalition? So you sent the project list in there.
Do we have a public speak
Yeah.
tonight?
He just called it. Missed it.
Yes. Yeah, you missed it. Sorry.
You're after a while, man.
You're not public, you're a member.
Can I say something?
Let the man speak.
All right.
I will let you, it says city official, so you're the city official.
Okay.
Go ahead, Harry.
I'm just curious why our town clock isn't working again.
Oh, boy. I didn't know.
Question of the
I didn't
mayor.
notice.
I have no idea.
It's broken.
I mean, we paid to fix it, but then that's it.
Isn't it under the church?
It's
It
on
is.
top of the church.
I actually approached Don to see if we could get together with the historical commission on this because, yeah, the church wants to fix it.
We
And
paid to fix it. The
I thought we,
CPA
yeah, I thought we did that
It
already.
had been fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait a
that was
minute,
like
wait a minute.
10 years
Didn't we
ago.
pay to have like the exterior done? I'm not sure if we did
No.
anything about the mechanical.
The
on the
mechanics, I
inside
thought we
too.
had
Oh,
paid for
the mechanics was not part of it.
I didn't
Right.
think so.
There's an automated system that we had a member of the Congregational Church who was very sort of diehard clock guy who is getting older and couldn't get up into the bell tower, but he like created a system where it would ring, it would chime, I think until 8 p.m. at night and starting maybe at 8 in the morning or something like that. It was great and it was working for 2 years, maybe something like that. 18
So the
months,
reason
2
they were
years,
able to get CPA funds is historic,
Exterior work.
well, whatever it was, it's a historic clock, so we can, so.
but the
you
clock
guys-
mechanism is now broken, which is probably why it is telling the wrong time, or it's telling the right time twice a day.
So do you guys want to approach, does the church approaching us? Have they approached you guys?
Well, we just,
I'm a member of the church, so I
Oh.
I
I didn't know that, Greg. Sorry.
yeah. So I mean, people in the Congregational Church had approached me about, is there anything we can do on this? And I said, well, I think this had been a project before for the city
I
and
thought so. Yeah.
CPA.
Yeah.
We approached the planner's office. It got kicked back with the message, oh, we don't think it's actually ours. Said it is the city's, and well, we don't think that it is. So then I had to go and do my own legwork to find the documentation that established that it is indeed the city's.
The clock is the city.
The clock is the city's.
You were able to find that documentation?
Yes. So, but I feel like I shouldn't have to work.
Yeah, right, that hard.
It's established that it is, but I have the documentation if you want it, or if the planning department doesn't have it. And Barbara LeBombard has it as well. So,
All that means is
I
CPA.
think what we want to do is move ahead with a proposal for it, but because of the fact that this has been a past project and it felt like I was not here for all of the history of it, I feel like it's a political kickball maybe, or like maybe there'd be some resistance. I just wanted to make sure that I understood from the historical commission what their point of view was on the value of having the clock be a functional part of the community.
and we've never wavered on that. We've always been in support of it. I think that it should be functional and kept up and aesthetically as well, as functionally. But it's
All this means, since it's a city, owned building, or the clock is city-owned, is who is applying for the funds. If it was owned by the church could apply. But since it's a city-owned, the planning department applies?
Well,
I mean,
Well, that was why we were trying to work with the
Right,
planning
and so
department initially on it.
it was never clear to me, no one, when we looked at it last, no one ever knew who the owners were.
Okay.
There was no clear title or conveyance to the city or acceptance to the city. So if you were able to find that documentation, then.
I have the legal letter saying that the city owns it.
Okay.
I mean, so that would establish something. But without that.
We've
it's-
also acted on that precedent for this project before. I mean, this is not
Well,
like,
but it's more complicated now.
nothing's changed really.
Well, there has been change with the, at the state level with how public funds can be used to support or because it's a religion. If it weren't the cities, then it's the church. And then there's the anti-aid amendment that.
And we had that issue, yeah.
So CPA can fund some religious things, but not others.
There's a public good, right? So,
It-
but this
it's
is
more-
partly like why it's coming up is because people in the community are recognizing that it's very prominent clock is that people
Right.
use or at least appreciate when it tells time or chimes on the hour is no longer functioning.
How
So
about this historic commission applies for?
Absolutely. There you go.
But is the historic commission going to be able to manage it?
I guess that's a
I mean,
discussion.
so that's-
to have.
First of all, if
That- I mean,
it's,
that's
if
the- that's
we
the
have
question.
to
Anyone who
establish,
apply for it
this
needs to be able
becomes
to.
legal. If it's a city-owned, building or the clock, are we talking the clock, not the building? Just the
Just the
clock?
clock.
Yeah,
not the
just the
building,
clock.
no, this is the
If it's a city-owned clock, we need to send that, and I'm willing to use administrative funds to get the city attorney to agree with your opinion that it is owned. If you
it's not
could-
an opinion. I've just.
I mean, just send the,
It's paperwork that the city has that says it's a legal letter saying that the clock is owned by the
can
city.
you email me that stuff? And I'm
Sure.
gonna send to Mark, CPA committee, and then,
Wasn't there an official caretaker of the clock as well? That was part of it. That
I
was.
thought it was Harry.
No.
Harry's always
If I remember correctly, it's Jeff
Been up for 10
Jeff Tennant.
Jeff Tennant, who was at
He
Williston.
just retired from Williston. And
Yeah.
I believe
He held the position of the official clock taker.
Yeah,
And I don't know if that was a city position or if it was just a
a
community
volunteer
position.
position.
But he had been like the official caretaker for
But it
decades.
wasn't a church
Yeah, yeah.
position, right? And sort of officially because it had.
He was
And
the
that
one
was-
who brought it initially to the city's attention,
Well-
was the clock needing repair.
yeah, and I don't know what his relationship is with, like, I wasn't around for that.
Yeah.
But I did hear that. it was
Well, look,
Jeff.
here's what I'd like to do, okay? This isn't on the agenda, first of all, so we shouldn't be talking too much about it. We need to get the city attorney to give us an opinion based on what you found. So send me everything you've got, if you could scan and send me that.
Just talk to Barbara. She has all the city stuff.
She hasn't,
Yeah, I mean,
okay?
but I'll be happy to send you what Barbara sent to me.
Well, just make it easier since she's not in for another week and a half, she's on vacation. So if you could send it to me, I will
But
send
I
it to
also
Mark.
think, I think I did forward it to the planning department.
I only saw the initial,
My point is, we have to do a title search or figure out if that document is sufficient enough to establish that the city owns the clock. City owns the clock, then the city not only has the right to apply for funds to get it fixed from CPA, has to manage it. Okay? I need a vote from this committee to allow administrative funds to be used for the city attorney's opinion. Are we in consensus with that?
Sure.
It's okay to do
Well,
that, even though it's not on the agenda?
Let's kick that to a different meeting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it has to be.
Let's
Let's
put
put
it
the
on the
clock on the
agenda.
next agenda.
Also, we should know approximately the amount of money before we're voting, right? I mean,
Well,
Depends on how long it takes them. It's hours, so.
yeah, I don't know.
All right, let's think about this. Yes, the clock needs to be fixed, but it may not get fixed for a couple of months until we figure out how we're gonna get
It's
it
gonna
done.
be years.
Years.
It's a very big project, because well, it depends on what's entailed, because if it's just the mechanics of it, or if it's the bell, or if it's the tower, and the siding and the splines and the roof, like how much of that is city, how much is church?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It requires
Well, anyway, I
requires scaffolding to get up there.
Just put it on the agenda.
Let's not talk
talk about it
anymore.
tonight.
This
Let's
is
just
an
put it
open
on the
meeting
agenda for the next meeting.
And any,
There you
In the
go.
meantime,
the chair erred in allowing this discussion to go too far. Just bring as much information as you can, like Greg, if you want to talk to church officials about any information they have on how bad this is.
Can you find the old application, the original application for funds?
There wasn't, I mean, all I have is because it was 2007 or so when it was originally granted those funds. And then it was left open. I started in 2012, it wasn't complete, and we just did a little bit of work to wrap it up and close it, figure out the rough cost estimate and like 20.
So whatever you can find in the file, I think it would be helpful for us to have access to that. So if you would mind just scanning what's either in the paper file or digital file, we'll add it to the agenda, and
Yeah, it has to be on the agenda for us to talk about.
maybe Dan, between now and next month, can get something from Barbara.
Well,
I thought we paid to get the clocks repaired.
We did.
The face, and I think the face actually is, just for the record, I think there's less work here than we think. I don't think the bell needs to be removed, which would be a huge
well, let's,
deal.
I've got to cut this off. I've got to cut it off
Yeah.
because this is not on the agenda at all. So Harry, thanks for bringing it up. We will put it on the agenda. I see Gwen Morrissey here. We just skipped public speak. Are you here to speak on one of the agenda items, or would you like to just speak to us?
I
Yes.
came because I see stuff about Nonotuck Park pool request.
Okay, cool. We're going to get to that very soon. Do you have any other communication, Jamie?
Nope.
Account balances, the city council approved 3.25 million unanimously for Old Town Hall. So that 255,000, which we voted, it's 255 to get it up to 1.25 in cash. So 255 is being taken out of our current account balances, which some of it was historic and some of it was general funds. So I think we had 2.1 million minus that 255 is available for appropriation right now. Because you haven't updated that.
No, because I'm still trying to figure out.
Well, we haven't moved it yet, so. So that's up for, but that was voted in, so we're all set on that. Bonding authority has been given. So whenever they get matching funds, that'll be done. Anything else on account balances or open projects? Jeff, since you're late, we're gonna go to John. That's your punishment.
That's fine. That's fine.
So, members of the committee, we're dealing with the Nonotuck Park pool request, and I would like us to vote on this evening because we already made a commitment to this. We made a commitment letter back in June, so that they could apply for the park grant. John's given us a application for 190,000. Did you all? Here, I'll share this since I can. Everybody see this? So as you can see, John, this is your budget. And what's in very pleasing to me is this figure, 613,000 from the city. And I talked to the mayor today. Yes, she is committing those funds. Correct, John?
The mayor's, fully supportive of this project.
So what they're trying to do with this 190 is to get the park grant. This is leveraging a grant again, okay? So am I correct in all that, John? What did you want to
Yes.
say on this?
That's absolutely correct. I think the timeline piece and the description is the important piece on this because it is kind of a domino effect here because of the way the state works. Getting the announcement hopefully by November 1st for the 400,000 that we requested. They also want city council in the city to, by the end of this year, say we would fund the entire project. The first year is design phase, which is 60,000 through the 2023. And then the Land Water Conservation Fund grant cycle last year opened up at the end of October. They haven't released the RFP for that as of yet, but that would be something, and it closed late January last year. So based on that timeline as well of getting, when we have most of the documentation, so getting that grant to the state and to the federal is not a problem to match their grant timelines. We have to do this all up.
Let me stop you there for a second.
Yep.
There's two phases of this project. This is the pool one we're doing now, and the other one was the land around it, correct?
So yeah, this is the pool, the infrastructure. This is the fencing, the shade structures. So on page of the design that was submitted.
But what I'm saying is you're still going to apply for CPA funds for the other grant that you just mentioned.
Yeah, so either CPA or whether it's free cash or how the city is looking to
There's two parts to this project. This
Yes.
is just funding the pool area, the pool itself. This $1 million or so that we're looking at.
Yep.
Down here, 1 million. So, okay. And that other part may or may not come to us for funding.
The second and third phases, like the ADA playground and the original project that was submitted, of the 2.2.
Right. You might be seeking CPA funds, but that's another.
That's exactly. That's another phase. We'd be looking at other funding sources as well to create a matching for any other projects that are associated with this project.
I just wanted the committee to be aware that we're only funding right now. This entire budget is funding getting that pool fixed, which is a big part of it. So. Anything else, John? We did go over all of this, committee members, so I have no problem. Anybody have any problem voting on this evening? We went over.
I just have a
Yes.
question about the numbers, the construction numbers themselves.
Yes.
Since the pricing came in, I'm guessing these were probably priced in before June, right? So these were presented in June.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about any of these items having a major price escalation, like fencing with metals? And if so,
We've got 20%.
he's got a 20% contingency, so I'm presuming that's a hefty contingency that's covering what other unforeseen conditions you see, plus any price escalation?
Exactly.
Okay.
And if there's any work in-house that can be done, we have the staff, and we would look to tackle that as well if possible.
Okay. Just for the public's information, let's just say we get lucky and we get the grant and this money and the money from the city. When would this construction begin? In the spring?
No, we can only do design phase through June 30th. So we would go with the design cost of 60,000, and that would take care of getting design. We'd look at construction in the fall, definitely like by now of 20 of next year. Exactly.
Also for the public, this does not prevent the pool from opening this next summer. In other words, this doesn't have to be done in order to keep the pool operational, but at least for one more year, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just one more comment, like if the grant doesn't come through, I just want to say that I'm comfortable with CPA funds being used to move forward with the design.
And the mayor told me today, we'll get it done.
Okay.
I like that comment. Apparently we have a lot of American Rescue Act funds coming in now and infrastructure funds. So. But we've been very good, right, Jeff, with getting park grants? Jeff is magic that way.
Is the motion only for $60,000 right now, or is it? for
No, it's for
190?
190.
190.
It's the application. I don't know if you can get it. Anything else from the committee? Gwen, you wanted to say something?
I do. I'm here not just to represent my own enthusiasm, but that of the entire 6 current member EDIC, Economic Development and Industrial Commission. We are small but mighty. Anyone who's watching, please consider applying to join us. We need 2 more people. And we are so excited about the prospect of making the pool a more robust place for people to be, one that is a little more inviting, a little more up to date, a little more environmentally friendly. Just the whole thing is really awesome. And we are, all of us, delighted at the idea that we can continue to offer that service to not just our community, but to neighboring communities who really seem to value it. It seems like an extraordinary thing to be able to offer in our own little park system. So EDIC is fully in favor, but it sounds like you guys are too. I like coming to things where I don't have to do a lot of convincing.
We appreciate it though anyway. I just wanted to comment that regardless of, I've heard comments, I've made them myself about lifeguards and things like that. The reason to fix this pool though is because it's an asset for the people that live in our city, regardless of income levels, who do not have pools, who actually walk from our city into the park to have a beautiful place and a place to swim. We have to help those residents. Not everybody can put a pool in their backyard. And a lot of people living in apartments or in small homes don't have that luxury. So having this pool, and I know John is working very hard to get us lifeguards. So let's hope you are successful, sir. Any other comments or discussion?
That's my plan.
Okay. Any other comments from the committee or anything? Then I would like a motion to approve $190,000. This is coming from Recreation, the CPA Committee, to fund the Montauk Park pool renovation. I guess this is what we're calling this.
I'll make a motion to approve $190,000 for the Nantucket Park pool improvements.
Second. Motion is made and second. Any further discussion? Jamie?
Are there any conditions that you want to put on to this?
I was thinking we put a condition that the grant had to come through, but I don't want to put that condition on. In other words, without that condition, this money is going to be appropriate.
We're going to do it anyways.
We're going to send the money. If the grant doesn't come through, we're going to still, this is just me. Now, if you guys want to put that condition on, okay. Sometimes we do that where so you don't get the grant, you don't get the money, but I don't want anything other than you can only use it for the pool, but I don't think that's probably in there anyway. You can't take a trip to Tahiti, John. You have to fix the pool. Any other conditions? No conditions? Okay, then having a motion before us and no further discussion, we'll take a vote. Jamie?
Dan,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Jay,
Aye.
Jessica,
Aye.
Joe,
Yes.
Tom,
Aye.
Harry,
Aye.
and Scott.
Okay. So this should, hopefully, we got 2 weeks before the next city council meeting. We hope to get it to the council for the first meeting in October. And if it goes to the council, first meeting in October, it'll go to finance the second Wednesday in October. Okay, John, that's when we'll need you.
Yep, perfect. I'll be there.
Okay. The next, I'm going to stop the share here. I said stop share. How come it's not doing that? Oh. So next is the planning department's asking for $65,202 because they had an overage. Did everybody see what was put into the the total budget was am I looking at this right? 576,230, and the overage, there's some non-reimbursement costs, project costs. I also want to vote on this evening because this is a project we've already voted on.
Right.
We've already decided that we want to, and the park is open. Now we got to pay the bill. And I'm just curious, Jeff, you got away without paying the full bill? What happens if we don't give you this money?
That's a fair question.
I mean, the park is already open.
The planning department has one-time funds. There are funds that have accumulated over decades that get gathered from community development block grant, and so it's called non-program income. But it's a very valuable resource for the city to have always on standby. And so, we've used that. We're using that to pay the first bill that has come through since we're over. And this money will replenish that one-time fund. But the goal really is to continue to have the CPA to support it. A couple things happened that were really beyond anyone's control, and we all hear about it in terms of like supply chain issues and things like that. But as we were proceeding through May and June, two kind of integral parts of the project were continuously coming and then not showing up, and scheduled to come and not showing up. And so if you've driven by or seen it, so there's a privacy fence. It's a cedar wood fence that was really integral to the project to provide a buffer to the neighbor from the parking area. And included in that was a wood guardrail. And then there's a couple areas of split rail fence that are kind of throughout the project, and the wood supply, Jessica mentioned, metal fencing, but the wood supply was nearly impossible to get. And what started to happen was they kept saying it was going to come, and I kept the park grant program informed, but as of June 30th, the materials had never arrived. And then the park grant kind of doubled down and said, sorry, whatever you have spent to July 30th is what you can get reimbursed on, and anything else has to be recovered some other way. And so we had talked about value engineering and kind of cutting some stuff out of the project, but the fences are really important to the project, so we had to keep them going. And so that, that's not insignificant. That was the fence materials. And then what also happened was it delayed the contractor from doing all the installation of the fence. So those costs and the final work on the project all got pushed out. And so it turned out to be about that $38,000 amount was what we lost access to in the park program. And then there's another approximately $26,000 that kind of came through. This is a trail on a mountainside, and I think as the project unfolded, there were a couple change orders, and there's still one that's going to be pending to just help capture the rainwater. When you do go out to the site, it's a meandering trail. It was designed so the swales on both sides would capture the water and move it, and then there's culverts that go under the trail. But there were two areas in particular that really needed to be reworked. Kind of a dynamic site. So all those things combined bring me back here to kind of make this request too. I am, also asking for, it's a relatively modest, but it is a contingency for, we're handing it over to the Parks Department. And so there is, the idea that there would be $5,000 that would be available for the Parks Department to kind of watch the trail this fall, this winter, and in the spring. And if there's anything that needs to be done, changed, or adjusted, that way the Parks Department would have access to that money. So
Is that this miscellaneous expenses you show here?
No, that's actually there's a line item at the bottom for $5,000 for Park Department.
Park Department.
Oh, I see it. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, right. Okay. I have no problem with this. Anybody have any questions for Jeff? It's a beautiful park, really is. So for the public's,
Did
I'm
did
sorry, I
people
didn't see.
attend? Wasn't there like a opening on the
Oh,
9th
yeah,
or something like that?
there's a video of it too.
I wanted to make that, was unable, but how did that go?
It's great.
It went very good. Yeah, Jessica was there and John was there, and Jamie was there. We had a great turnout. I mean, it was really there were so many people involved in this project along the way. So, the National Park Service is the New England Scenic Trail. So they had representation there, Kestrel Land Trust, Pascomet Conservation Trust, the Parks Department and Parks Commission were there. And then we had members of the Commission on Disability, and then Riverside Industries, who I've brought out there a couple times with their clients to bring sort of powered wheelchair and scooter equipment up there to make sure that that's viable for them. And so all those people were invited to come and came. So, it was fun because people parked on East Street and went up to the top, and then we cut the ribbon at the top. So I would hope that over the fall, all of you can get a chance to get out there. The beginning hike is kind of moderate. It's designed with resting areas, and there's 5 interpretive signs. And then obviously you can go from there, you can go around a Kestrel Loop Trail, and then you can continue to access up to the Mount Tom State Reservation property.
It's beautiful, Jeff. And remember, without this, we'd have like 8 homes up there or something. I mean,
9.
it would be 9. This is fantastic. This is what the CPA was designed: open space, recreation, and protection of open space. And a beautiful mountain we have. So fantastic work. I see. Greg?
So after this year with this contingency, I was just kind of curious, is there some maintenance fund for these trails, or is Parks planning on, is there a line item for this for the future, or what happens after this year?
Imagine John's going to apply for those funds, John, correct?
Yeah, so we're tracking all hours. We've been up doing maintenance already before it opened, and to kind of piggyback on what Jeff said, if it wasn't him coming with the weather we had and the rain, we would be coming for almost the same amount to fund. When you build something on a mountain like that, you can't foresee how much water or where the water is going to travel. So it kind of worked out where the contractor's still on site to do these change orders to get the trail right. But it is a beautiful place. We're excited to be a part of it and to take care of it. And we're going to chart it, and we're going to see how far the maintenance goes and what we're going to need. It's going to be a work in progress because it is on a mountainside, and there are a lot of factors that could affect the long-term ability of maintaining that trail. So, but we're going to keep an eye on it. We have some plans in place. I've been in contact with the contractors throughout, discussing certain things that we can do in the spring and fall to help maintain the trail, do preventative stuff. So, it's going to be a work in progress, but we're on it. And, and any money that there is no money currently for maintenance on it, but we're tracking it to see what it's going to cost in the long term.
Okay, good. Anybody else on this? Okay, I'll take a motion to approve a request for $65,202 for the Mount Tom North secondary construction.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Jamie?
None? No conditions?
No, only that they use it for the Mount Tom North Park grant.
Just have to ask.
Okay. No conditions? Okay. Then I'll take a vote, please.
Ben,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jessica,
Aye.
Jay,
Aye.
Joe,
Yes.
Don,
Aye.
Harry,
Aye.
and Scott.
Aye.
Okay.
And Jeff, again, hopefully this gets to the city council's agenda for the first meeting in October. Jamie can do her magic with Hadel and get the appropriation for Compass.
Yep.
The second-
I just want to thank the CPA committee. I had it in my letter, but we wouldn't be able to have done this project without your really generous support. So, I see John and I working together as a team on this. And I appreciate John's work and, support for creating the trail. So it's a real team effort.
It's exactly what the CPA is designed to do. So thank you. Okay, nothing else on the agenda. So the next meeting, we'll talk about the clock.
Harry's clock.
Harry's, we're not going to call it Harry's.
Never not? You've always called it Harry's clock.
Anyway, the next meeting is, when is it?
October 20th.
October 20th. Keep that on your calendar. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Jamie, you have to do another voice vote.
All right, Dan,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jay,
Aye.
Jess.
Yep.
Joe,
Yes.
Yes.
Harry,
Aye.
Scott.
All right. And I want to thank Joe for stepping in, even though he has COVID.
Oh, no.
Feel better, Joe, and thanks for not bringing it to us.
Yeah,
all.
right. Thank you.
See y'all later.
Hang in there, Jeff.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Aye.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.